certainly love to recognize people making a difference, and our next guest is doing just that, not only with the novels that he writes, but the platform he takes to change the world for the better. I'm talking about New York Times #1 bestseller. He's written 22 novels, including his latest. He joins us right now. Daniel Sliva, I gotta say, we're so thrilled to see The New Girl, this latest edition. But when a project comes out, I know you love thrillers. Is there a code name for launch day?
You know what? I've never come up with a single word to describe what it's like to publish a book, other than it's, and with apologies to all the mothers out there, it's a little bit like giving birth to a child. I mean, I have been living alone with this thing for months and months and months, writing on deadline. This one was particularly challenging because of the circumstances under which I was writing, with the story breaking around me as I was writing this novel. And so I'm literally locked in a room for months and months, totally alone. And then I have to come out in the world and talk about it. And it's very interesting. It never gets routine. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stress and pressure to publish a book at this level. But I just love the chance to try to explain to people what I was doing when I was locked in my office for 6 months.
You did allude to the story that was exploding around you when you were writing this novel. Tell us more.
Well, yeah, as I say in the foreword of The New Girl, which deals with Saudi Arabia and a prominent young crown prince who promised to be a reformer, and his image was tarnished by the death of a journalist. That's what this novel is about. I started writing this book before the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, when the model for that character, Mohammed bin Salman, was really sort of riding high. I mean, he was controversial, yes, but he had just come to America and done a grand tour of the United States and met with everyone in Washington and Silicon Valley and Hollywood, had lunch with Oprah. And to think that just a few months later, 3 months later, he became suddenly the most reviled person on earth. So I had to take what I had written, throw it in the trash can, and start over. So I ended up writing the New Girl in about 3.5, 4 months to account for the changes that took place in the real world.
Incredible, and the world, grieves about Khashoggi. And I just wanted to read, I noticed in your dedication, if you could just talk a little bit more about it, it says, for the 54 journalists who were killed worldwide in 2018.
It's an issue that I take very seriously. I have written about journalists being targeted before, in Russia in particular. I think that the scariest aspect of that statistic, which on its the number is extraordinary, but the scariest aspect is that the overwhelming majority of those 54 were not killed in the line of duty covering a war or natural disaster. They were deliberately targeted by governments and powerful interests and murdered in cold blood.
We are so blessed that you're using your amazing voice to bring this issue to the forefront. You mentioned earlier the journalist that interrupted the writing of your book because of the direction, the fall from grace that you were taking. But then you had to take another direction with very little time to get the book done. How did you handle that pressure? Because I want to learn.
I don't know that I handled it well, but look, I think that at any given time in all my books, there's a certain day where I think I just can't make it. And I had a couple of days like that this year, as I really had to literally start over in the middle of October. And the way I deal with it is that, right around the new year, I literally lock the door, do not leave the house, and I can write for about 12 hours in a sitting, and that's how I get it done.
Enjoy the tour. Thank you for what you do to make a difference in the world. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Thank you. Thanks, Conn.